seeing ourselves. We're live! Atlas, you're live! Oh my goodness.
Okay, Ricky, we're not going to smell.
Yeah, leave it. We're not knocking over any drink cups today. Little cat boy. Cat dog. Hi, Sam! Hi, Atlas. You guys just had a very yummy late breakfast, huh? How's your day going so far? What's going on? I feel like we've been having a very low-key, nice morning. Oh, how about you, Atlas? Are you living the life right now?
I'm giving you a little head massage.
Yeah.
It's good.
He's like smacking his lips. He's so happy.
I love you, buddy. Yeah.
I feel like it's been so long since we've been live together.
That's true. It's been a second. I feel like, yeah, because we had company at our house for like a week and a half or so before we moved. So it's been at least like a month and a half.
Yeah.
I feel like the last one was probably the live we did, live hot toast.
Oh, it probably was live hot toast. Hi, Gab. I'm glad it's Saturday. About to make some yummy food. Yay! Proud of you for eating. We also just ate lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We had rice. Mm-hmm. You are so precious. Puppy's had some of my leftover rice. So he is also very happy from his lunch. Is that why I'm getting so many kisses?
You can be all done with them now.
Yeah.
You're a little slimy, but
I don't need that money. Oh my gosh, hi. I don't know who's fronting, but I feel like, how are we? It's such a great question. Doing good.
I feel like it's been super busy since we moved. Our house is still not like all the way unpacked. We're getting there. I feel like we did a lot the first couple weeks, and it's been kind of slow after that.
Yeah.
We're still putting together like an art wall in the other room. The doll wall is done.
True, but we still have to set up all the dolls that aren't still boxed.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them that are. The Monster High OGs that are still in box. Those also need to be put up.
I feel like we still need some furniture too. So there's been like, I feel like a lot of stuff is on hold because of the furniture thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, I don't know, the people who have been following me for longer probably will be like, why the fuck is your bedroom blank? But literally no motivation for me to do anything. I put up something yesterday, and that was like the first time I even tried to decorate my room. I literally just like popped all my stuff into different corners. My bed's in one corner, there's a pile of my stuff in one corner, everything else went in the closet, and I was like, I'll deal with that someday.
Yeah, I feel like once we start getting the furniture, then everything else will come after. So it's just been busy, mostly.
I've been wondering about how you've been, miss your makeup and stimming TikToks. I'm glad to see you're putting your mental health first. Thank you. TikTok is the bad place, but I still really, really love, like, I don't know, making stuff. I want to be better at doing it. I think it's just that, like, because TikTok was the platform that I was used to using and comfortable with using, once I stopped using TikTok, I was like, I'm going to do social media other places. But it did not feel intuitive or natural in any way.
Well, now you're getting back into it by posting reels.
That's true, which is basically like TikTok for Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be more happy stims there. Also, yeah. Yeah! The sky, I think. Heck yeah, thank you. It has been nice, kind of, to a certain extent, just being like we can take our time with things. Because also, like, I think we're all just like comfier and happier here than we were in Boston by a significant margin. So it's just like, it's not necessarily that we're taking breaks because we're like, oh, so exhausted we can't do anything. It's more just like we're enjoying our time. Like, we're watching movies most nights. We don't really care about like how everything looks perfectly.
We're going for a swim, like, you know.
Oh my gosh, yes, swimming. That's been so fun.
It's been hot, so we've been swimming a lot.
And before we moved here, I literally had not been swimming since I was like 11 years old. So
and then we
fun to go to the pool for
a hot second. We were going like pretty much every day.
Oh yeah, Well, during the hottest, week of August, it was
Yeah.
like, if you don't go to the pool, you're just going to suffer.
Thank you for the hair compliment. It's really funny that it's faded that way because it naturally looked more like reddish purple when I first did it. Um, it's I think it's called All in This Together, by Good Diane.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but
Podcast.
I always forget if it's We're All in This Together or All in This Together, or some version of that.
Mhm.
But yeah, eventually it'll get redyed. I
It
know.
definitely still has, redder parts, especially toward the roots, but
Yeah, I feel like additionally, we wanna do half and half in the back again, so I don't know what
yeah!
the other half will be. We'll see.
Jewelry shop making is going so well. We are actually we have time dedicated either today or tomorrow to finalizing a drop date and setting prices for our
Mhm.
pieces so that we are ready to actually show people what we've been working on
We
and
have to plan getting, like, bubblers too and, like, getting some stuff printed out, for, like, little notes. We have stuff, but
yeah, it's been so fun making the jewelry. We've been having so much fun with just, playing with the materials,
mhm.
there was a shop here that we went to that had a lot of, specialty charms and stuff that, gave us a lot of inspiration. I've also just been making stuff for myself, I made this, stingray necklace and the jellyfish earrings. I also actually did make the dragonfly earrings, Um, because I just love jewelry. So, a lot of stuff I'm just making to keep.
Yeah, I feel like I've made, like, an unreal amount of jewelry. Our drop is way bigger than we intended it to be by, like, so much.
Literally, you made, I wanna say, 4 necklaces one night.
The other night I know I made 2. I finished what did I work on the other night?
Was it the beetle and the ant?
It was the beetle and the ant.
Yeah. But also someone said you give Adventure Time characters vibes, and I think that's so real.
That's really sweet. I like that.
Oh my gosh, yes, Florida is such a happy place. Boston can be so dreary, but I'm so excited you get to come visit because I know you love being in Florida.
What part of Florida are you going to? Sorry to
Close
be
up with
nosy.
my current jewelry, my webcam quality is probably absolute garbage because we are live streaming from my, probably 2012 MacBook that has been refurbished. So, sorry about that. But, I have this is, just a chain that was as is, I did not make that. But this is just my little stingray guy. I have these longer dangles are the dragonflies. Um, and then I also wow, I have so much hair. I also have these little jellyfish charms that I just put with I'm pretty sure these are dyed quartz points, so I don't think it's actually a naturally blue crystal, but I thought they looked pretty slay with the jellyfish.
I feel like the other thing is we keep getting better, so then I look back at other pieces and I'm like, I don't really like that as much anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, I can make that better. Also, I've just made, so many things for myself, and also I have so many pieces that I want to make for myself that I'm like, who's gonna be wearing all this jewelry? I can't wear a different necklace every day of the month. I don't think that's reasonable. Gonna be in Orlando the first day, and then in the Florida Keys for the rest of the time. That
The
sounds
Keys
so
are
fun.
nice. I've never been, but my other partner has. It's super south.
Mm.
Um, but Orlando's great. That's where we are.
Yeah, we are. Thank you. I love making jewelry. It's also just very it's a little frustrating because I don't have very good joints in my hands, so sometimes working on the small details, I'm like, ah. But it is a very good stim. If I'm doing something that's not too painful for my joints, it gets very methodical to be using the materials and beating something, clamping it, attaching it, beating something, clamping it, attaching it.
It's a really good distraction. It's been a lot of our coping tools in regards to distress tolerance lately. Just sitting down in front of the TV and eating for several hours has been most of my nights.
Well, I also think doing something with your hands, taking space away from your phone, your responsibilities, like
Yeah.
the pressure like that might be on you, doing something with your hands, making something that you can then feel proud of. Like that's a huge part of it for me. Um, and also just like you feel creative. There's a lot of good parts of getting that energy flowing. He's so baby.
Atlas is just like nuzzling into my back.
I feel like besides jewelry making, there has been like
A lot of job hunting.
I was gonna say there's been like no like new like Florida related endeavors in my life because no one will like hire me and I haven't gone anywhere yet. Like besides the one day when we went to that
We went to that shop.
And
We
then
went
we also
to
went
the
to the
antique mall.
and to Prometheus Esoteric.
We went to a couple little shopping centers several times. We've been to some malls.
The American Girl doll store.
Yeah, we did go to the
That
American
was
Girl
so
doll store.
fun. I loved it there. One step. Rigby. Oh my goodness. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna get Rigby to stop barking.
You can even bring him in here.
Rigby, make a different choice. What are you doing?
One step, Luther. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my god, that's kind of brilliant, and I want to be getting one. Kind of worth it in the long run if this is a thing for us. It loops it for you, babe. Like it gives you the little loop so you like.
Ah, that is very helpful.
Yeah, it gives you like the little loop so that you don't need to do it every time.
Mm-hmm. They're calling me out.
Yeah, true.
They're calling me out. There's in the little advert that they pulled up, there was a little corner section that said bad loops made without looper. And they all look the exact same as how mine do.
But yeah, I feel like
that's such a smart idea.
A smart investment. The ones that were coming up for me were like $25, but like if we continue to do little drops, it is very worth it to invest.
I definitely think so. Well, we're also hoping eventually, if we can, to vend like a little market or something and sell our wares.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think would be fun.
Yeah.
Also, oh my gosh, if anyone with like white people curly hair knows what I'm supposed to be doing in the humidity, I would love some advice. My hair has been busted since we moved here. Just the worst.
Yeah, I am not a curly girly.
I mean, I feel like even if you wear your hair so much thicker than mine.
Yeah, my hair is very thick.
Yeah.
What's your current hair routine?
Literally right now, I usually I wash with like a cleansing conditioner and co-wash with something more like deep. I only shampoo like probably once a week. And then out of the shower, I just use leave-in gel and an oil to seal, and then I just air dry. I have never gotten the hang of a diffuser. But yeah, maybe I could be using a stronger oil to hold like my product or something. But what I use right now, I think, is just argan oil. I'm pretty sure it's just the OGX, like spray argan oil. And I feel like I literally have to apply it multiple times a day to get my hair to look like cohesive and not like completely like a frizzed mess.
My mom has curls, and she like used to do that. Like she'd have to wet it a couple times throughout the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if she ever found anything else.
I mean, like, it's just that every time I go outside, the humidity just, like, wreaks havoc on whatever plans I had for my hair. It's really discouraged me from doing hairstyles, too, because, like, I'll style my hair, but then I'll go out and it'll look functionally completely different than when I was at home. So funny. It's also funny because when we were in Boston, I had bleached my hair to death, And I was, like, trying so hard to nurse curls back into it. I was like, "Oh, please, won't you curl for me?" But it's so dry up there that they wouldn't. And now it's like, if you go into my underlayers, like, they're literally coiling again, like, in full ringlets. But I'm like, "Actually, can you tone it down a little?"
Microfiber towel to scrunch it.
That's a really good idea. I think,
Scrunch in the shower while you watch it to fight frizz.
yeah, I was using a keratin treatment for a while, but I ran out. I should pick that back up because that would probably help a lot.
Is that the one that smells really good?
Yeah, the K-Pack.
That smell made me so happy.
It's a good smell. It's the Joico K-Pack treatment. It's super pricey. But they usually have, like, run over at TJ Maxx.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
where
it
you
was
got
only,
it.
like, $12 there, which isn't for Joico, that's, like, nothing. But also, I will have to get a microfiber towel because I just use a regular towel, which is probably, as I'm saying that out loud, not my smartest
You'd
moment.
probably even be better with a t-shirt
Yeah.
than a towel in the meantime.
Okay. So fair. OGX isn't a good brand. Formaldehyde.
That's insane.
My God. That's crazy. I cannot handle the sensory of a silk pillowcase. I tried it when I was in, like, my curly girl era in, like, probably, like, 2017, 2018. Because at that point, my hair was, like, down to my hips, platinum blonde. And I was really into, like, it being naturally curly, and I tried really hard to maintain, like, ringlets. But the silk, like, I don't know, I just did not like it against my face. Cotton t-shirts are good. You could try a bonnet while sleeping instead of a silk pillowcase. That is so smart. I never thought of that because then it doesn't have to touch my face. Wow, I'm so glad I asked you guys for advice. Oh my gosh. I'm getting the best advice. Hi, Jazz! Yay, all my friends are here. I love my bonnet. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay. I feel like I should, like, write down a little grocery list. My little hair care list. This is the best. Because, yeah, I do need, the K-Pack. Was there something else that I was supposed to get?
The microfiber towel.
Oh, microfiber towel. Thank you. Slay.
I feel like asking on YouTube is so much better. I know you asked on Instagram once and people were like, use conditioner.
Well, I also feel like, I know this is going to sound so weird, but I feel like people on Instagram care less. Like, I feel like when I hang out on YouTube, everyone is always, like, actually interested in the conversation. Like, I feel like a lot of the time if I'm on Instagram, or especially, it was way worse on TikTok, but even on Instagram, it's like people will just ask, like, very redundant and, like, unrelated questions and, like, not really be focused on, like, the conversation that we're having. But I feel like a lot of the time when I'm on YouTube, people are, like, actually paying attention or invested, maybe. I don't know what the difference is. VO5 moisturizing is a good affordable alternative. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Does it smell good though? Because the OGX smells so good.
No, the K-Pack is what you're thinking of, darling.
The K-Pack smells good.
Yeah, and that's a nice brand.
Cool.
They are high quality usually, to my understanding. I guess I don't really know what I'm talking about that much.
The strawberry and cream one is fire. Thank you so much.
Strawberry.
I love hair care products. They smell so good.
Oh my gosh. Strawberry. Because also I, like, need to get back in the habit of having a bottle of vanilla on hand.
Yeah.
Because I don't like perfume.
That was always your thing?
But I feel like I just stink more in Florida because I'm sweating more. Thin bristles for curly hair. Stay away from bristles with large plastic beads on the head. You mean like my hair? Me being like, I take such good care of my hair. No, I do not.
But no one ever teaches you.
Well, yeah, especially because I was, like, the only curly-haired AFAB person in my family. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
You were the only one
I'm
with
gonna
curly
put
hair.
curly comb because, one of my brothers had, curly hair, but because he was always getting short haircuts, like, it didn't really matter as much, and,
Which
the
one of your
solution for me
parents had curly hair, or like who did it come from?
yeah, my dad had, like, actually borderline a fro in the
Hmm.
80s. He had, like, big curls.
Curly hair Reddit.
Curly hair Reddit. Oh, okay. I need to start using Reddit.
I feel
I
like
was just so resistant to it, I feel like, because of, like, I grew up on Tumblr, and the
Mm.
Tumblr narrative about Reddit is, like, that's where the incels live.
I mean, I was also super, like, away from Reddit. I downloaded it because, people were posting, like, Monster High leaks there first,
Oh.
and posting where you could find dolls when we lived in Massachusetts, and, like, they were first coming out. Yeah, also
Oh, yeah,
avoiding fake disorder cringe.
That's the only place I've
Um,
ever been on Reddit.
But
They love me.
now I also am on, like, several of, like, best of Reddit updates, like, am I the asshole
Yeah.
type of stuff.
I love reading Am I the Asshole? I love when you show this to me. I'm at work with my other queer and autistic coworker. Yes! I'm so glad it's a chill day. That sounds awesome. Curly hair is fun, but also I'm getting a haircut soon. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see. I feel like I just want my hair to grow out. I like understand the vibes of the short hair for some people in our system. I understand why they wanted it, but I just don't feel like myself. Like I feel like I miss it so much. It felt like such like a safety thing to me. Like I love having it to stim with. I love the sensory feeling of long hair. Like it's so comforting to me.
Yeah. I feel like when we started being close, we already had short hair.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
like, it's weird to see you with long hair. Like, obviously, we were mutuals then, but, like, we weren't as close. Like, we
we
were
weren't
close.
like talking every day. But the other thing is like I very much believe that like hair holds memory. Like hair holds energy and memory associated with it. So like when I chopped my hair, it was so necessary. Like I really felt like
It needed to go.
it was like dead weight that I was carrying around with me. Like even I think I cut my hair once while we were in Boston too, even though I was already trying to grow my hair out at that point because I think it was right after I got out of the hospital. I was like, I need to not have this on me anymore.
Jazz, so true. I relate. We just cut our hair again. Well, they did technically cut our hair. It was growing out, and with like how hot it's just been like the worst sensory experience. There are a couple of people in our system who've been fronting more who wanted to grow our hair out. But with like sensory needs, we decided that wasn't the vibe. We'd keep some pieces long in the front to kind of like be in the middle.
When Mouse cut it, oh my gosh.
Mouse cut it on FaceTime with us.
Yes, that is true. We also like just kind of always like talk about that as like kind of like a little bit of a joke to be like bad decisions.
Well, to be
because he
fair,
didn't consult anyone. He thought he was going to be a host, and he ended up just not almost ever fronting after that. Like he cut it. He probably fronted for like 2 more days, and then now he fronts like what? Like even when he fronts, he doesn't tell anyone about it, so it doesn't even matter.
I was gonna say, you can't say he barely ever fronts. He definitely fronts. He just doesn't tell anyone.
Yeah, he definitely does front, but like he's not a front-facing person where he's gonna have conversations with someone where he's gonna do our daily
That's
life.
true.
And it's like,
well, it's funny because like 2 days after he cut it, then Riot started fronting like all the time because you guys were going in that cycle of like you can try and live life. How about you try?
So when our entire life was tanking and we were slowly getting to a point where we could no longer functionally live in our trauma environment, splitting a new host every like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So fun.
But yeah, it was just funny.
Dude, hair keeps on energy. I feel like it's so true. Hair can be used to identify things like treatment, dye history, and drug use. Yeah, definitely. Like it holds like yeah, I guess it makes sense like that it feels like it holds memory because it holds all those other things. But, like, yeah, I just, like there've been times when I'm just like, "I need this gone." Um, but now I feel like I'm at a point in my life where, like, I'm ready for that. Like
Well, I think the other thing is part of the reason you cut it is because you had a complex relationship with femininity and you needed it gone for that reason too.
yeah, but I don't even feel like it was necessarily with femininity because you can never even pretend that I was presenting masculinely in that
No, but
time.
like with
I feel
the
like what I
femininity
had
that
a
you were imposed on as like
I feel
a
like what I had
youngin.
a struggle with was beauty.
Mm.
I did not want to be a beautiful person. And I feel like that was very effective with the haircut Mouse gave us. I do not think like not in a mean way, I don't think I looked conventionally attractive. I don't. I really don't. That's
I like
not
the short
tea.
hair.
Okay, but do you think other people, like the general populace of people, do you think
No,
that
but
was
you looked gay.
beautiful?
No, but you looked gay.
Right. And
And
that's
also, like, gay people thought you were hot. You got hit on way more by other gay people.
but also what I'm talking about is the imposed standards of beauty from
Yeah.
my childhood.
No,
I
that's
needed to
true.
not feel beautiful, and I feel like it was successful for that.
Yeah.
And that's
I
not
mean,
to
it
say I
was-
wasn't beautiful.
It wasn't because people wore a wig all the time.
People did wear that was my wig era.
Yeah.
That was rough. I did not know how to take care of wigs, but I did wear them every single day.
Yeah. That blonde one got so ratty.
I'm so glad we threw that away. That's rough. But yeah, it's rough to be a little guy. I'm here now. It's fine. I can't believe I used to wear a wig every day. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was also very funny because like I was telling Mr. Guy, like I remember the first time I came to visit you guys, like I made a really genuine effort to like have my hair and makeup done every morning before you woke up and like be in an outfit. You know what I mean? Like did you see me not ready very often that first
No.
like week and was it just a week?
It was a week the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a week, and then the second time was going to be 2, and then it was
And
changed
then
to
it
a week and a
wasn't.
half
And then it
because, and then, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But it was so funny because I was like ready and then like I would stay ready all day long. Like I would try to stay ready until you guys fell asleep. Like a lot of the time.
God forbid I see you without makeup, even though we FaceTimed
even though
literally
you have seen me
24/7.
without makeup several times. But the second time I came to visit you guys, I don't think I wore makeup one of those days. I don't think makeup even left my suitcase. Like
I mean, at that point, I had already visited you and met family members of yours.
I mean, at that
and
point, I also was just my life was
Yeah.
real different,
yeah,
and I was not even getting out of the bed all those days. You climbed into bed with me several of those days.
the fits he had were really good.
Yeah, oh my gosh. People really thought like anime sexy man mouse for that.
I mean, for real, they're right for it.
but like
he
literally,
slays.
like he can put together an outfit, I'll tell you that
He looks
much.
good.
I think he just falls into that trans man category of like overdresses constantly, like to assert masculinity. You know what I mean? And for
Yeah.
him, it's like the like English professor kind of
Mhm.
way. But I feel
Yeah.
like our beloved trans man of the household also has that in
Yeah.
like a very punky, like
Mhm.
countercultural way.
I feel like Wes also kind of has that energy, but it like also incorporates like skirts and more like it's kind of like
Gender fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever consider re-uploading your old TikToks as reels?
I
It's
feel
not
like
a bad
you could
idea.
also put a bunch of them together and just put comps on YouTube because I know you're trying to hit those YouTube hours, baby.
I could do YouTube compilation, but I feel like there's no good way to compile
You
them.
could just do like about autism, about DID.
I mean, I probably made like 3 videos total about DID. That was when TikTok was a sinking ship.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting though. I will have to look through my old content. I'll download things that I feel like are still worthwhile. And
I feel like
depending on whether there's anything thematically similar, I'll either compile them for YouTube, or if not, I'll repost the ones that I still like on Reels.
I think at the very least the meltdown harm reduction one is worth posting.
Oh yeah, there are several harm reduction things that I think are worth posting. The one from Target.
I was thinking about the one from Target.
But also there were a couple before that, because the one from Target is EFT. But I also did videos about stim replacement.
I remember that.
A couple different things. Yeah, stim videos. People have been talking about loving those, and I know that's why a lot of the people who followed me. It's just also why I've gotten all of the hate that I've ever gotten, which I think really made it difficult. Like, honestly, I stim less now than I did when I made those videos. Like, and I think a lot of that is the internalized shame of, like, I have gotten a lot of prolific hate online for the way that I use my body to regulate myself.
Hi, Salem.
Hi, Salem.
Is Salem the one who made those?
No.
I don't remember who did.
Salem made Morgan, the little doll with
Morgan
the
I knew, but I didn't know
This
if it was
is Bug. Dorian Gay.
Yes.
But what was I talking about?
Stim videos and how you stop stimming as much because of the hate.
I feel like I'm still learning to unmask again and stim more normally. Like, even before, I feel like when I was live, like, I would always be using a stim toy, I would always be rocking back and forth, and I feel like I've lost a lot of those natural behaviors that were really helpful for me because of the shame that I've developed because of the hate that I've gotten. So, recovery ups and downs. I'm sure I will get back to that place. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be careful about what I repost. There are certain videos that I am not going to give the internet endless access to again.
Maybe you could even just put it on Patreon behind the paywall.
That's true. Some of those stim videos that are cringeworthy, according to, like, the neurotypical social standard, might go to Patreon.
I just feel like that feels a little bit more protected. Like, I know that technically people only have to pay, like, $1 to be able to go in, but it's still, like...
Well, it's 111 because I like angel numbers.
But, like, it's still something, like, a little bit of a buffer.
Well, yeah, because someone who genuinely hates me and sees nothing that I have to offer as valuable is never gonna give me $1 just to hate me more.
And
Like, why would they do that?
that's, like, real fan behavior.
I mean, yeah, if you're willing to do that, like, sure, pay me to hate me, like, at that point. I'm so sorry you're having a flare. Sending so much love your way. People are gonna hate you, make them pay for it. That's iconic. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll probably put those ones on Patreon, and then anything that I think has, like, a larger scope of value, like the self-regulation tools, I will put
was
publicly.
thinking about it when I was in therapy the other day because I mentioned it for my toolbox because I thought it was helpful. Maybe it'd be cool if you did a video of the thing that Megan used to do, like the putting things in a box and light therapy.
Oh, containment.
I really like if you do a video like that for YouTube. I'd listen to it when I need it.
Yeah, I actually was planning on doing it before we moved, but all the things that happened before we moved were just out of my control. But I do have that plan, actually. I have a couple of guided meditations that I go back to all the time. I've done them for you. I've done them for lived experience counseling clients that I've had. I've done them for
I just find it so helpful.
friends, because it's really just, one of them is a containment where it's literally just like, take your feelings out of your body and put them away somewhere where you can come back to them later.
I feel like even the part that I was finding helpful is like you sit with it for a second and like think about how it feels, and like feeling my feelings in small doses as someone who's autistic is more helpful than like.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to that meditation. There's a lot to both of them, but I think it's also nice to have like things that feel true, because I think as an autistic person, when I'm doing a guided meditation, as soon as the person says one thing that does not feel like it applies to me or it does not feel true, I'm completely out of it. I'm not going to be able to get back into it. Like I'm walking up the mountain with them and they're like, oh, there's a squirrel there. And I'm like, why is there a squirrel in the Arctic? No, I'm gone.
Like the way that happened to me when my mom tried to give me like her coaching version of that, where it was like your inner guide, but I had DID, so like it was a little more complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
What's containment?
Containment is basically just like a word to describe like um putting your feelings in a place or like somewhere. I feel like
Compartmentalizing, kind of.
yeah, compartmentalizing is a synonym. I feel like we all compartmentalize our feelings. Like, let's say you just got bad news and then you had to go like have a shift at work. You might compartmentalize that feeling of sadness over your bad news while you're at your shift so that you don't, like visibly appear sad to other people that whole time. You might still be feeling a little bit sad, but it's kind of tucked away for you to feel later. That's containment. Hi, thank you, TJ.
Um, Speaking of Patreon, I was wondering if you guys are going to post more journal tour videos. I really enjoyed the one you posted.
Thank you. I actually have been so bad about journaling in the process of us moving, which is the only reason that there hasn't been another journal update. But as soon as I have one, I will share it. I've done a couple little things in my journal, but not a lot of like collage, which I feel like is the fun part to look at. Also, no, there are other partners at school right now.
Mhm.
It's Saturday, but he's working on a project. Thank you.
Yeah, I think he's taking a long day today. I feel like he told me he was staying a long time this morning when I asked.
Mm.
I don't remember how long he said. Honestly, I don't know how much of that was my dream of him leaving and how much of it was him actually leaving.
Well, I know he has a really big project, so it would make sense if he wants to like literally just do the whole
I
thing.
think that's the vibe that he gave me, but I was so like sleepy that I forgot he was even leaving today. So I was like, "Where are you going?"
I mean, you can always text him and
Yeah.
check. I feel like these contacts always fall like just the slightest bit out of place, and then it looks like my eyes are looking two different ways. I'm like a little chameleon.
It's so funny because some people in your system are like, "Yeah, I'm not putting those on. Not my problem, not wearing them." But I'm so used to them now that sometimes I'm like, "Whoa."
Blue-eye jump scare.
Your eyes aren't that blue, they're gray, but, like, yeah, every once in a while, especially after, like, you've been wearing them all day, and then all of a sudden, like, you're not, and I didn't notice you take them out, I'm like, "Oh my god, wait, what?" I think it's also about, like, the size of them because, like, they make your eyes look bigger, so when you take them out, I'm like
Yeah, because the like that's what makes my eyes look blue to me because the outside ring of my natural eye is like navy. Um, and like this, I feel like is a much less harsh diffusion because it adds a little bit of
yeah.
brown to the center and then it diffuses out to brown. And then my natural eye is like the center is like a lighter like gray, and then the outside is just like that dark
I feel
navy.
like getting green would slay, though, then, because the gray on the inside would probably, like, look
More
natural.
green, yeah, that slays. That's a good idea.
I know that you are getting more, but I don't remember what colors.
Am I?
I thought we picked some for you to get more. I don't know if you emailed them back.
I don't know if I've emailed them back either.
I know that we picked ones.
They definitely said that I could get more, but I might not have emailed them back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we picked ones for you, but I don't remember what. We chose like 8 that we were like, oh, these look cool.
Yeah, I think that was why we never emailed them back because we didn't narrow it down to 2.
Yes, we did.
I don't think I did.
No, yes, you did. You ended up being like, oh, this makes more sense because we already have these that are already kind of like those. So like,
Maybe we did. I don't remember any of this, so it's not going to help me to go back over it. Someone else in my system, I'm sure, knows. It's just for sure not me.
I feel like Kiva or Psyche, maybe.
Probably Psyche. I don't think Kiva was around the most when we were still in Boston.
It wasn't when we were in Boston. It was when we were here.
Then we definitely didn't email them back.
It was while we were here. I remember standing in front of the green dresser.
Wild. I also need to make my little rain cloud heart intro.
You don't have one.
Maybe.
Me realizing that you don't have one up.
We only have 2 up.
Who, Noah and Smidge?
No, I think it's Smidge and Mickey.
Mm.
Because I think Noah's was not accurate anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, Smidge and Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey slays.
Yeah, Mickey's cool.
This is so cool.
Yeah, Mickey's a cool guy. That's true.
Slay. Me though, I don't have one.
I love you.
I'm so a little guy.
That's true. I'm gonna remind you that later when you tell me that you're not little guy.
Well, that won't be me. I'm not resistant to being a little guy. That's edgelord behavior.
That's true.
That's like Sylvie. Oh my gosh, I was going back through Patreon stuff earlier, and there was this video of Sylvie getting so excited. It was so sweet. It was because we got Tenacity's book in the mail, and Sylvie was like, you guys, I feel like it's a sign. Like, I feel like I'm just supposed to, like, query my book with this publisher, Bottle Cap.
Yeah.
And Sylvie was like, I have a good feeling about this. And I literally never have a good feeling. It was so cute. I literally almost cried watching it. I'll send it to you. It was very cute.
I know that there, at one point, we had gone back through your TikTok videos that, like, no one can see anymore. And there was, like, one of Sylvie, like, happy stimming. And we were all like,
yeah. There's, oh my gosh,
crying.
there was a part of the video where Sylvie was like, I reread the book and I think it's good. Like, I'm proud of it.
yeah, baby, you should be.
It was so sweet. I love that kid.
Yeah, miss that guy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a little project for my day now, going back through TikTok posts.
Going back through TikTok posts.
I'm gonna probably actually make you help me with that, because if I watch them back all by myself,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cringe at them and delete them permanently. I'm not gonna want to repost any of them.
I mean, if you want, I can do it, and you could not be involved with it actually at all.
No, I think that would make me uncomfortable too, because I don't remember all of the posts that I've made.
Well, if you want, I can go through them first and decide like which ones I think could be re-uploaded.
That's the part that makes me nervous. I'm like,
you want to make sure that there's nothing cringy, so
I watch it with you, so that I can perceive how you're perceiving me.
Okay, we can do it together. That's fine. I was gonna say that I do that for you, and you can change my story posts to feed posts.
I can still do that.
Does the TikTok still exist and it's just private? No. I mean, yes, it's private, but there's nothing on it.
I mean, it's not even private. You can you can still follow my TikTok account. It's still public because they won't let me delete it.
You've been trying to. I've
tried so many times, but they will not let me. I think because it has so many followers, maybe.
Yeah, they probably think that you are not you, and like maybe it's a hater trying to get you down or whatever.
I don't know. Because also there's still like $4 in like the live gifts. But they won't let you take it out if it's less than 10, I think. So when I was trying to close the account, they were like, oh, you can't close your account, you still have money. And I literally was like, no, I don't care. I still want to close the account. Make it happen. And they were like, no, we can't. It's like,
use it to promote your YouTube and book.
I have thought about making a TikTok post again. I think I would have to be in a better mental health space. I think I would have to be in a place where I was ready for people to hate me the way that they did in the past. And like it wouldn't affect me the way that it does still. So I think it is definitely a cool option that it still exists. I know there's a lot of followers still sitting on that account, but also it's just like I barely am ready for this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm tiptoeing back into posting on Instagram and YouTube. So when that feels comfortable and secure for me, I think that's when I'll consider it.
Were you part of the Creator Fund?
I was not part of the Creator Fund. I don't remember why.
I feel like maybe it was because your account had been flagged so many times.
Oh yeah, my account got flagged so many times because I smoke weed.
So they wouldn't let you be part of the Creator Fund.
I always used to watch your lives on TikTok. It was always so much fun and felt safe. Oh my gosh, that makes me happy. I used to love going live on TikTok before I got like TikTok famous, because like the energy was always so good when it was like a small group of people. Like as long as it was like under like 40 people in the live, we were all having fun. And then yeah, it's just a scam. And then as soon as I like got clout or whatever, and it started being like literally I couldn't go live without there being like hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
And then I
was a
wasn't
mom
having
during
fun
that
anymore.
time.
I was not having fun anymore. Hi Ella! Oh my gosh, so many friends. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
But yeah, moderating during that time was garbage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, that was also just the peak of like
I mean, there were
the
plenty of
mindless, redundant questions that are not at all related to the topic of conversation. Like I'm talking about something, and every single comment in the live is, "What is DID? What is autism? When were you diagnosed?" And like I'm telling like a story completely unrelated to any of.
But it's also
things.
like you've answered those questions 1,000 times and a half. Like
Also, Google could answer those questions for you. Like I don't know why you're asking me. It was very silly.
like what they think your answer's gonna change.
Yeah, no, because I got to the point, I'm sure you remember, I got to the point where when my live streams would get this big, I would just be a parrot and I would just be mimicking the same scripts that I had developed for the same questions. What is DID? Here's my DID script. When was I diagnosed with autism? Here's that script. It was just perfunctory. And it got to the point where like people who actually enjoyed my content who were coming to several lives had already heard everything I was going to say that day.
The problem with moderating on TikTok, because I was one of the mods during some of that time, is when you get so many people in a chat and they're commenting really fast, like the screen is refreshing so fast that it's hard to even mute somebody.
Not only that, but also TikTok has a very small limit to the number of moderators you can set. So like I had the maximum number of moderators, and obviously not every single one of them is going to be able to make it to every single live, which I'm not expecting ever. But like I'm pretty sure you can have like maybe 10 moderators total. And oftentimes in a live it would be like
Me and
maximum
Sky.
2.
Me and
Exactly.
Sky.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's just a lot of comments that I'm glad that like you never saw.
Yeah. There were definitely over 1,000 people. Like there would definitely be times where there were like 1,500 people and they were all just commenting. And like a lot of it was hate. A lot of it was like cringing at me, making fun of me for being visibly queer, making fun of me for stimming because at that point I was still stimming more. And people were like, "Oh, why are you rocking back and forth?" Like calling me the R slur, all these different things. Crazy.
Yeah. It was just also like where it got to a point where even questions that felt like they could be construed another way, I was like, nope, you don't have rights. Bye. Bye.
Also, yeah, it is so crazy that the number of mods is so disproportionate to the audience because, like, even if all 10 moderators were there, like, how are 10 people going to stand up against 1,500? It's not going to be easy. Do you still feel comfortable stimming in public and on social media? I feel like in public is a lot easier for me because I don't notice. Like, if I'm doing something,
It just reminds me of our conversation the other day where you were like, oh, like,
people don't know that I'm autistic, and you were like, yes, they do.
no, the one where you were like, I'm a little bit delusional. And then you were like, I think that people are staring at me because I'm shy.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Because for me, like, I always forget that I'm like visibly disabled and like acting weird in public because if I have something to focus on that isn't myself, I don't notice that I'm stimming anymore. It's why like I don't stim as much, like, you know, just sitting here like watching myself in the viewfinder. I'm not going to be stimming because I'm
You
so
can perceive
conscious
yourself.
of my own behavior. But like as soon as I have something else to be focused on, I feel like I'm stimming most of the time. Um, and like in public, like people will like kind of be looking at me. Like sometimes people have like a little bit of an inquisitive look, but a lot of the time people are just openly staring. And I'm always like, it's because I look so good today. Bet you wish you could have a piece of this. And I'm like, that's not why. It's really not. But,
You
like,
having that realization in my room was so funny.
but, like, especially because when I'm in public, a lot of the time I'm listening to music very loudly. I like to listen to my music at the absolute top volume in my noise canceling Bose headphones, which are nice headphones. So, like, this is loud music and I cannot perceive any of the social noise. And so I'm vibing to my fucking song. Like, that song is on, that's how I'm feeling. So, like, I'm walking around, I'm dancing a little bit while I'm walking. Like, my stims are like dance adjacent a lot of the time when I'm listening to music.
I feel like you're like
I'm constantly lip syncing walking through the grocery store.
lip syncing is generous. You used to walk down the streets of Boston scream singing like
That's
cursed
true.
music to make men uncomfortable so they wouldn't approach you.
Well, that's true because I'm very small and approachable, and so anytime I'm walking alone at night, I just sing out loud.
You'd be like, time to belt some Mitski, some Phoebe Bridgers.
Well, yeah, because if I'm walking down the street, I'm approachable. But if I'm walking down the street being like, "Won't you just kill me?" like, then you're not gonna approach me. Yeah. It was crazy to mute so much as a mod. Literally, so many of the people who are survivors of my TikTok lives. I'm so sorry. We should have never done all that.
But hey, at least TikTok. The only reason TikTok existed is the battles of Normandy or whatever D-Day comment.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. In that second, it's just me and my music and nothing else matters is exactly how I feel. It's like, oh, it's literally over. Like, I'm sorry that I'm having such a better time than you at the grocery store. Like, you must just be jealous. Like, that's literally how I feel. It's insane. But also, I don't know. My hearing probably isn't great. To be
I feel like
honest.
your hearing isn't bad. I feel like because of like this auditory processing, like there's times where I have to repeat myself several times. But I feel like
It's never
you're
because I
also
can't hear
so
you. It's just because I
sensitive
can't
to
process it.
sounds that you hear most sounds anyway.
I am very sensitive to sound, and I guess one of the reasons that I listen to music that loudly when I'm in public, or really most of the time, is because if I'm listening to music, like one of my biggest auditory triggers is co-occurring noise. So like if the TV is on in the living room and someone in the living room is watching TikTok on out loud on their phone, I'm going to die or leave. Those are the only two options. So like if my music isn't all the way on, a lot of the time I might be able to hear someone rolling their grocery cart. Or like if someone's passing by me, I might be able to catch like part of what they're saying. Like might not understand it, but I can hear their voice. And that's a very grating for me. So I'd rather have like the loudest noise ever in my ears, like literally put on like death metal and walk through the grocery store than hear any of those noises layered over my music. Because I've tried listening to my music quieter before, and it just doesn't work for me because I just get really triggered by the little noises that I can still hear. Was I holding that cup that whole time? Cool. I have an ice cube in my mouth now. I did not mean to. Or literally scream when two sounds are going on at once. Yes, exactly. I really shouldn't be listening to music so loud. I work with dogs for a living who love to scream at nothing.
Our dog!
Rigby.
Yeah, Rigby is like that, and it's really funny because there's no reason that he's like that. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. Sometimes things really upset him, sometimes they don't. There's no consistencies in it, and it's just
Not at all. Also, collectively, I think it's like a little over a year and a half.
it's gonna be 2 in December.
Yeah. So whatever math that is. But also, if you're still mostly Jude's shape,
Yeah,
we've been together a little shorter than that. Because I'm honeymoon and Jules is my partner. And we started dating in June of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
But collectively, our systems had their first like romantic relationship in December of 2021. Yeah.
I think
That's math.
the 20th, the 19th.
No, it's the 20th.
I think
it's either the 20th or the 20th. Which one is your Mr. Guy anniversary?
The 22nd.
Okay, then maybe it's the 20th and the 21st because it's back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 20th and the 21st, and then his is the 22nd. That's so funny.
But we've been talking every day since like March of 21.
Yeah. And then we started FaceTiming every day in August of 21. So that was like
we knew each other.
We literally were spending all of our days together. Like by the time
I mean, we were mutuals before you were popular on TikTok.
Oh, way before. And like that was when I like knew you. So like we didn't become friends when I was like popular online or anything.
I didn't even know you were popular online until one of your TikToks came on my For You page, and I was like, huh, I know that person.
Yeah. But yeah, we were honestly, I feel like we had one of those queer moments where like we were very flirtatious and situationship based before anything was over.
That's true.
Is Rigby named after the Adventure Time character?
I feel like we just really liked the name. I feel like he's more so named after the regular show character.
Is there a Rigby in Adventure Time? I guess when I read Adventure Time, I thought regular show in my head, but now I'm trying to remember if there's a Rigby in Adventure Time too.
But yeah,
I don't remember.
Kind of named after the regular show character. He's kind of named after the Beatles song. We liked the name, thought that it would be a really cool name to be able to say, like, depending on who we were talking to, what he's named after. Because if old people ask, I say it's the Beatles song. If queer, like, younger people ask, then it's always, like, regular show.
Okay, yeah, then regular show. I was going to say. But also, I think it's very funny because you guys didn't choose Rigby's name until you, like, knew him better. Like, you had a list of names.
We had a very long list of names.
And it was very funny because, like, I feel like one of the reasons he got named Rigby is because he's so like scrungly.
Yeah,
because
scrungly.
Like a lot of the names on the list were like
soft,
handsome, like upstanding.
He could have been Teddy.
Names. Yeah, like Teddy. I'm pretty sure there was another like princely kind of one too, where I was like, that's like a little upstanding boy.
He was not an upstanding boy.
He's not an upstanding boy. He's a Rigby.
He's a Rigby. But when we got him, like the day that we met him, he was super sleepy and like the sleepiest of his siblings, and his siblings were all acting out, and he was just like, bleh. He was like the biggest of his siblings. I don't think they're actually were all related. None of them really looked like him besides one. But they were all raised together. And it's very clear that like his siblings picked on him despite him being the biggest. So he was just tired from playing all day. So we picked him because he was so sleepy and calm. And then we brought home like a little monster. His puppy times were really hard.
He was a
very bad
puppy.
dog.
He was a rough puppy. But I also feel like it was kind of hard because like the training that you guys were able to outsource was like not really understanding of his needs.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until like Atlas and I came into the house and like modeling another dog's good behavior and also some of my like service dog training experience.
Like that's the thing. Rigby trusts other dogs more than he trusts people. He really does not care for most people outside of our house. There's a couple of our friends that he's met a couple times now that like he's obsessed with, but outside of like his circle, he doesn't really care for people.
Yeah, like he's never gonna be a friendly dog to like meet on the street, and in fact, if you try, he will bark at you.
Like he just is even excitable in that sense. So sometimes I can tell he wants to meet someone, but he just is so overwhelmed that he like doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But having another dog in the house who like already knew skills that we were like, oh look, like this is how you do it, were super helpful for him.
Yeah, and
because he's smart.
He is smart, and he's also very praise motivated. He really wants to be seen as good, which was really, really helpful because anytime he was not showing an accurate or good behavior, we could have Atlas model a good behavior and then give Atlas a lot of praise to give Rigby a little bit of jealousy so that Rigby would want to do the same behavior. What's your favorite thing to do together? And what are your other alters' favorite things to do with one another?
Our favorite thing to do together is analyze media.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Also, I just feel like having conversations, like talking about anything, but especially analysis. I feel like that was like one of the biggest reasons that I feel like I fell in love with you was just like having like long conversations and like no matter how long we talk about a topic, like we can always find new ways to look at it, like new angles to explore, like ways to branch out of that topic into our other mutual interests while still somehow relating back to the topic. Like I feel like we could talk forever and I will never be bored, which is so
Send
important to
paragraphs
me.
back and forth, like
Oh
for
my
literal,
gosh.
like every second. of
Our
every day.
texts were obnoxious. Like like obnoxious. No one else would have messaged me that much.
No. But I feel like the other thing is you're like one of the only people that I have those kind of conversations with anymore because being a burnt out autistic. I used to be much more social, I swear. But we just watched the director is one of like my favorite. We just watched Bly Manor.
The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Because
That's
that's the full name. Because The Haunting of Hill House is one of my favorite shows of like all time. And we finally watched Bly together, and you really liked it.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I already loved Hill House. Like, it's incredible.
It's a good. That one has more triggering content, but like
definitely has more triggering content. Definitely more of like a family trauma story.
That's what
I think
like about it.
Bly Manor definitely is more of like just like a supernatural paranormal ghost story type of vibe. I mean, like I think it's very consistent throughout the director's work. He does like to talk about trauma and supernatural occurrences
and religious trauma
in the same way. Yeah, the other show of his we haven't watched yet because I'm not ready for that much religious trauma content. But oh my gosh, Hill House is so good.
He started a podcast. That
you told me about it. It's kind of like a literary podcast.
Yeah, and I hate podcasts, but now I'm like, I love his work.
I think you should try it.
We'll see.
Sorry, I'm so bad at reading. Oh my gosh, also this is Hazel Bear. This is actually one of multiple plush that you have given us, but definitely the most treasured and special. He is a 2011 Build-A-Bear. I think he was released under the Sea Bear. But one of our littles, who is literally the only system member that we have that we know of, who has been in our system for as long as we have memory and has never been dormant in that time and has never like stopped being themselves in that time, for lack of a better word.
Briefly. The most brief, yes. Yes, before you were hospitalized, my love.
Yeah, that was not different from her. She just was a subsystem.
That makes sense.
At
the time, there wasn't Hazel.
Definitely.
There were just like.
But we also didn't understand ourselves perfectly.
That's true.
But she has been in our system for our whole life, is very special to all of us, is like kind of put on a pedestal sometimes because of how important she is to us. Has a special interest in specifically jellyfish, but marine life in general. And this was a special gift to her from, I think, her siblings. Were the ones who found it. But it also has some like crystals and shells and other little trinkets inside. I think there's a mermaid brooch or something like that in there that Hazel's chosen siblings in their system and also a couple of her like very best friends in their system chose special items to put inside to like give it good energy and love. And so his name is Hazel Bear.
When we lived far away from each other.
Yeah, it was, I think, the second time we came to visit you was when we got Hazel Bear. And he is now our every night cuddle friend. He is like.
Well, Hazel had also been having a really rough time around that time, and there were some things that were happening where we were like, we want Hazel to feel super special. And like after a specific thing that Hazel told us about, we were like, okay, like we're gonna look for something special. And then we found Hazel Bear, and like, come on.
I mean, like, he's just so special because also every single one of these bears was printed different, and he just has so many jellyfish on him. He has this one, but he also has, like, one on each arm. Actually, there's 2 on this arm. He has one on this leg. He just is covered with jellyfish, and they definitely didn't all have, like, the same pattern, so there are some with more different creatures. A lot of the ones I've seen have more clownfish than he does, but I think he's so perfect. He has so many sea jellies on him, and we love him so much. Um, Thank you so much for hanging out, by the way. I'm sure I missed that goodbye a while ago. Do you have any stories of switching out and being confused by something another alter did? Oh my goodness, no end. I feel like it's a regular occurrence.
I feel like there's also times where, like, lately, I've, like, moved something of yours because I was using it or whatever, and then you're like, where did I? And I'm like, oh, it's right here. And you're like, oh, I thought, like,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of
Well,
that
also
lately.
it's hard because I am very blind. So like if something isn't exactly where I expect it to be and where I last put it, I feel like I don't even know where to start. Like I have no ideas of what to do after that because even if I look somewhere there, that's not an assurance that I would find it even if it's there.
Cat.
Cat! Hi. Um, but also one of the funny anecdotes that I was going to tell just because I think it's a very like haha dissociation moment is that I like had very overt DID throughout my whole life. I think just a symptom of polyfragmentation on our behalf is like we are very different from each other and it is very obvious to people. Um, and in high school, a lot of our friends like knew that we were not exactly all with it or always like feeling the same, and they knew we had memory gaps, but we didn't really know what was going on. But a lot of the time, like there would be little like inside jokes that developed because of like silly dissociative things that I had done. And there was this one time where I had packed myself a lunch for school that day, and I packed 2 things in my backpack for lunch, and those 2 things were a bag of chips and a straw. And for literally the rest of high school, my friend group chat was called a bag of chips and a straw.
I feel like we had that, but it was like more so in like middle school and elementary school. But like in our backpack, there'd be like rocks that someone picked up from the playground, like a button that someone found on the ground, like just things where it's like, why is this in my bag?
Mhm.
Um, I feel like another good one is switching out, and I just have like things in my pockets, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, for sure. Especially with like some of the people in our system, like,
Oh, the other day, Beekeeper found the stamp in your phone.
oh yeah, we have a stamp. I found it. I felt so lucky when I found it. Where were we?
We were by Target
I mean,
in Boston.
yeah, yeah. There was just this beautiful stamp just lying on the ground. And I love stamps. I used to collect them in childhood. And I was like, hell yeah,
But
cool
yeah,
stamp.
the other day, Beekeeper was like, "Where?"
Cool stamp.
I found a stamp, and I was like, "Yeah, you've had it."
Well, that's the other thing that I was just about to say is that like people in my system love the Dollar Tree. And so often, like I will just know that someone was out, like not because of a conversation they had, not because there's any evidence, but because there's like something new from the Dollar Tree. Like there's some Dollar Tree fairlings in the corner. There's whale crackers from the Dollar Tree in the pantry. I just know we went to the Dollar Tree. I feel like that's such a birdie, like widow
Mhm.
moment. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Um, it reminds me of a regular Build-A-Bear, but with tattoos. Oh my gosh! It's so cute to think of them as tattoos. Like he was just blue and then he got all
Yeah.
of those tattoos. That's so cute. I'm crying. Honestly, so real. Hazel supremacy. Yeah. I feel like
I feel like funny DID stories recently was I was doing something on my computer because we run a DID journaling group, and we were talking, and I was making kind of like an exit quiz for like, give me your feedback, like what should I do differently next time kind of energy. And they look at me and they're like, oh my God, I have ideas. Like let me do it. Like essentially told me, do not do it yourself. Like I have ideas. I'm brilliant. I've got this. And so like I finished like opening the quiz to like set it up and to type in the questions. And I turn my computer, I'm like, here. And they look at me and they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, the questions that you just said, like, you had. And Honeymoon's looking at me like, what questions? But, like, it was Kiva before, and Kiva had been in a pattern of not logging themselves. So it was one of those things
And we
where, like,
have very similar pitches of voice as well.
so it was one of those things where, like, I had looked down, I'm sure they dissociated, and I would have known if I was looking up, but, like, I was so, like, in my activity that when I passed the computer, I was bewildered of, like, did I just imagine?
It was so funny because for me also, you just were like, here. And I was like, what's going on? But also I know that it was just miscommunication. That's just so cringy. I promise I'll do it. Dissociates. Yeah.
Yeah, also the other day when we were walking home from the mall, someone said we were having a conversation about like eating lunch or something, and how you guys were hungry, and then you said, "I don't know," and then like Madeline looked at you and was like, "You don't know what?" And they were like, "Did I say that?" I don't remember.
That happens to me all the time. I'll say something out loud that I didn't mean to.
That someone else said.
Yeah, and then someone else is like, "What?" And I'm like, "I didn't say that." Oh, the way you look at each other is so sweet. It's because you're gay.
I am?
You're gay. Atlas, did you know that they're gay?
Ronald says I can't be.
Ronald McDonald DeSantis?
No. Yeah, Ronald McDonald DeSantis says I can't be. Is bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have that much care for Ronald McDonald DeSantis or his opinions about things. If he wants me to, I might need a little permission slip. I'm gonna be honest. You want me to think about you?
You want me to call you Ronald?
I want your mommy's permission.
I heard Disney's trying to annul his wedding because it happened on their property.
That's my favorite joke to make, that I am.
Yeah.
What did he say about their property? I'm sorry.
Ron DeSantis got married on Disney property, and I heard they were trying to annul it because they hate him.
That's so petty. I hope they do. I hope they can.
They've been having like a very large public pissing contest, but honestly, Disney's iconic for that.
Yeah, one of the few times I will stand a corporation is when they are
using it to fight a politician.
That's not the usual goal.
No.
They're usually like, oh, hey, politics, let's team up. Capitalism.
I mean, he's also just being stupid and ruining Florida's tourism by trying to fuck over Disney because he has a grudge because gay?
Because gay people exist.
I don't know. I'm goofy.
Yeah. It must be hard to be as repressed as he is. You know?
I really don't care what other people do with their lives as much as politicians seem to.
Oh my goodness. It's so offensive to like elderly white men for me to just like literally be alive. It's so funny. Thank you so much. This is the coolest guy I know.
Oh, but we were talking about things we like to do together besides
be gay?
Besides watching media.
I feel like
talking so much.
One of our common things that we've been doing lately, like the two of us and more so collectively, is like window shopping at the mall, being little mall rats.
Being little mall rats, making jewelry together.
Definitely.
I feel like we also just like talking in general. Like a lot of the schoolwork that I'm in is regarding publishing, but I've done a lot of social media work in my master's degree. And so we've talked a lot about like content creation, the internet, like different things that you could do.
The other thing is like, I feel like we will come and like info dump to each other about like an interest, a thing that we've been researching or studying, something we've
Mhm.
learned, whatever, like even just like something we've seen, and then be like, "What's your take on that?" And like
Yeah.
we'll have conversations
Or like,
about
here's
those
this
things
internet
too.
drama that I watched a video on. Tell me about your thoughts.
Yeah.
We watch this like the same true crime YouTuber. So we talk about her content every once in a while.
We do like watching things together too, just like sharing space. I feel like I don't know, we do a lot of creative things together. Like we will share space while we collage our journal,
Mhm.
um, or even make like digital collages for like online stuff. Um, I love talking. Can't get me to shut up. Literally. That's so real. That's so relatable and real. And I feel like when you find those like safe, like that safe person where it's like literally you can just like start a conversation and it never has a functional end, like it only ends when you're both tired. You know what I mean? Like that's the best feeling in the world, because also like when it ends when we're both tired, we just cuddle and we smile because we know we can pick back up tomorrow.
Yeah, we've done a lot of childhood analysis
Oh my gosh.
lately.
Also, it's very fun to like have little like because you don't know my like bio family that well, it's very fun to have little like conversations about our bio families, almost like it's like telling tea instead of like sharing, like personal trauma. It's like so this crazy thing happened.
Yeah, I've only met 2 of your siblings.
Yeah, I'm one of 7 children, biological. So I mean, I guess there's no real non-biological option either.
I have
in-laws.
non-biological options.
I have like sibling in-laws, but I don't have like a.
I'm the only biological of both of my parents, but I have a bajillion siblings.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Um,
So that's it. We've also been doing a lot of stretching.
we've been doing yoga.
We've been doing yoga because
I've been doing a little bit of massage for your pain.
yeah, because Tempest is trying to heal my body.
Go Tempest.
I mean,
We gotta get to an herb supplier so that we can do that part.
We spent a lot of time the other day being in different positions and being like, does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt?
Yeah.
Trying to have you build an understanding of where it's coming from.
Yeah, literally. Hey, how are you? I'm tired. I love you. Rants about being neurodivergent.
Real and true.
Very real. That's the basis of a true friendship. I feel like I don't know why these fingers have been tattooed for like 3 years now, like, but for some reason I just feel like I just noticed this finger has a tattoo. Like the past 2 weeks, it's been very exciting to me. I'm like, oh, this is my magic finger because it has a little like magical star on it. I'm like, oh,
It's probably Beekeeper,
spellcasting.
who did not have that tattoo.
It's Beekeeper. You're so smart.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense than me being confused about the tattoo I gave myself.
Yeah, it's positive influence, baby.
You're so smart. How does it feel to be the smartest person? Thank you for that. Wow, I'm dense.
No, I just think when it comes to your own dissociation, your brain isn't trying to like figure out why. It's just like, that's so weird.
Yeah. I guess it is way easier for me to just be like, huh, I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
But that makes so much
But 2 weeks makes sense. Like literally, exactly.
Yeah, that's like exactly when Beekeeper came back. Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
I got the magic. That's how you can tell.
We watch a lot of bad movies together.
That's so fun. We watched Chicken Little for the first time recently. I know Psyche had so much fun with that.
Yeah, and then you guys didn't end up staying, but we watched Encanto after that, and my other partner and I analyzed how Chicken Little and Encanto have the same plot.
It's kind of true. It's kind of real. I've seen Encanto. I just didn't watch it that day because I think I was overstimulated from being in the living room.
Mm-hmm. It was just funny. It was good.
Oh, you can definitely message me about a tarot reading. Sorry I didn't get back to you. I did ignore, like, my entire Instagram DMs for a couple days because of
Because
reasons. Yeah, it's so fun watching bad movies.
Mhm.
It's so fun. I love, just, like, completely tearing something to pieces. I'm so excited to do it with the new Willy Wonka.
I can tell you the plot of Chicken Little. I'll give you that.
Oh my gosh, yes, the plot of
So
Chicken Little. Wait, no, don't give the plot of Chicken Little. Give the plot of both Chicken Little and Encanto.
okay. He was the one that explained it, so I feel like I'm not gonna be as good about it, but essentially, um, the main character, has an experience of questioning, like, what other people see as questioning reality. They have an experience that other people say didn't happen and isn't real, and they're gaslit kind of out of believing that reality, while it is the truth. And the rest of the story follows the finding of that truth. Both main characters have green circle glasses. Both green characters have a complex relationship with an older relative. Um, are very openly kind of like teased, made fun of for not fitting in.
So that the
With
main
the
characters only have a resolution with that older relative after their experience of reality is validated as
externally.
true externally, and other people can also perceive it.
Mhm.
There are so many things.
I feel like that's just like really the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, that's it.
It's really funny. It was also very funny because as we were watching, Chicken Little, I don't really remember it that well because it wasn't me, it was Psyche. But I do remember Psyche saying that it felt like a B-roll DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, because there was a lot of like music choices that were just like
Pop
bizarre,
culture.
bizarre. Um, there were just so many things about it that
I know they have a little bit of the more, like, tongue-in-cheek little boy humor type of jokes
they
too.
had the Spice Girls. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, honestly, one of our favorite things to do is to find weird analysis to do of movies. Like one of my favorites that we always think about is we watched the Disney movie Radio Rebel, and analyzed it as if the main character had DID.
Which she does, by the way. The analysis went way too hard. Like,
It was
she
really
very
good.
obviously has DID based on my personal findings and nothing else. Ooh, we're getting some interesting
Fun.
lighting action.
But yeah,
Yes,
that's one of our favorite things to
DComs
do.
are very fun to watch if you're, like, looking to either silly analyze or make fun of something. We watched the Zombies movies, those were very fun to make fun of.
Yeah.
Descendants, the camp value of Descendants is unparalleled.
I saw someone on TikTok talking about High School
I'm
Musical
sorry.
and how like theater is like a comparison to being gay and basketball is like being straight and you're not allowed to do both.
Why am I feeling so wrong? My head's in the game, but my heart's in
Yeah,
the
so I
song.
want to go through and analyze it that way because I heard someone talking about how like, for example, with Chad, you have this guy who like goes with that cultural norm of like you can't do both, you can't, and he's like so insistent about it. Even like after Troy is allowed to, like Chad doesn't let himself until the second movie.
Until he falls in love with Ryan. Oh my god. Also Fabulous. Banger song.
Yeah, true.
But also, yes, Descendants is very campy. I love that Kristen Chenoweth is in it. I love the Don't You Wanna Be Evil song so much.
I feel like I've given you so much fun media that like you didn't watch before.
Absolutely, because also I was like a very sheltered child. So like during my genuine childhood, like when I was in elementary school, I wasn't allowed to watch the things that were like on TV. I was like VeggieTales tapes. I was a big VeggieTales kid. I
Old
was
cartoons.
watching 60s and 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoons was like what my mom liked to put on. Um, that's not very good. There are some things that like, I loved the 80s Care Bears. I loved
Ghibli.
I didn't get introduced to that though until I was a little bit older.
Yeah, but I mean in terms of, like, when we met, like, a lot of what you were engaging with was just animated.
Yeah, but also what I like the track was that I was a super sheltered child, but then when I was a teenager, I was groomed into like I'm so different from other girls. I'm like so much older and more mature than all these people my age. So like I would never engage with something that was age appropriate. Like I was reading classic literature, I was watching like films and cinema. Like I wasn't interested in like these childish whatever bullshit.
We wanted to read Percy Jackson together. That's something
I'm
that
so
we
excited
used.
to read Percy Jackson. Oh, I missed out on so much cool YA
Yeah.
because I was a little stuck up, pretentious little motherfucker.
We also have to finish Hunger Games whenever you're up for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be harder for
Yeah.
me.
It's
I need
heavy.
to be in therapy before we do that.
That's fair.
But now in the renaissance of my life, we're going back to all this childhood media that I missed out on, and it is so fun. You read that as an adult too, and you loved it. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting because I was honestly wondering if it would hold up from an adult perspective. Because everyone I know who loves it, like even the people who have revisited it in adulthood, they had an existing relationship with it. And I just know that the nostalgia value is important sometimes when you're reading YA. Like sometimes it actually might not hold up to an adult reader, so that's awesome to know. I never read it because I have such bad dyslexia and I didn't want to be made fun of. That's so valid. Dyslexia is difficult to my understanding. I don't have it, but also I feel like audiobooks are such a slay option, and especially something as popular as Percy Jackson. I'm sure there are people who like are fully acting that out for an audiobook, you know?
Probably true.
Like
With like voices.
You could get like a really cool one that has different voices for different characters. Right, holds up. Okay, yeah. Because also people have told me so much that I would there's a specific character in Percy Jackson that people are always like, "Oh, like this is so you coded." I'm like, I'll be the judge of that.
But yeah, I think
But he does fit in with all of our kids.
I think it would be interesting. There's books of his that I haven't read.
I know The Sun and the Star.
That's still Percy
Just
Jackson.
came out.
That's still under the Percy Jackson umbrella. There's also like
But
no, I haven't read it.
okay.
But he has other like book series about other mythological
Yeah,
gods.
that's the only one I ever read. I read the Egyptian ones.
There's also I want to say I don't want to say Norse because I'm not positive, but I feel like there's another one too.
I read the Egyptian ones when I was in middle school, but honestly, I think there were like 3 books and I read them in one night, so I couldn't tell you anything that happened in them. I was a very escapist reader at that point in my life. It was like I just need to be out of my house somehow. So I just ate books like nobody's business.
Imagine if I had never shown you WandaVision. What would your life have been like?
Well, because I had already given up on Marvel.
And that's a good take.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
I'm never watching another fucking Marvel movie.
Honestly,
I wasted so much of my life pretending I liked Marvel movies.
I still kind of want to watch Black Panther too because Black Panther was really good.
Okay, actually, yes, Black Panther is a good movie. But also that's what I mean. Like to me, it doesn't like. I guess what I'm talking about is Avengers movies. I hated the Avengers.
That's fair.
I don't like them, and I don't like Doctor Strange, and I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch.
I hate him.
Also, Percy Jackson Book Club sounds so fun.
Well, once we get the book, we can tell you, we'll give you story updates as to where we are in Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I stopped at the Trials of Apollo too.
We should go to the library so I can get the first one.
Yeah.
Because I want to start reading those.
Yeah, I feel the same way. WandaVision was so good for then everything after. Like, there were things before that were so mid, but then everything after that was so good. I watched most of the Loki show. I liked the beginning of it. I heard about the ending. I was like, absolutely not.
Do I like Marvel? Yes. Am I still invested? No.
I know that in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier show, they get therapy, which sounds kind of slay.
I mean, yeah.
Normalize getting therapy to the Marvel Bros.
Yeah, go to therapy. Can't believe you needed Captain America to tell you that one. I'm sure your girlfriend's been telling you for years.
I don't know if you follow. I don't know what pronouns they use, so I'm going to use them. But there's a Disney, there's someone who works at Disney who is an influencer, and they're on TikTok. They have EDS, and they are in a Captain America show in California right now, like one of the live ones at Disneyland.
and they're a dancer and they're in a wheelchair, or they utilize a wheelchair. And I've been seeing a lot of their content lately, and like a bunch of like kids reacting to their content, and like that's made me so happy.
That sounds really cool.
But I feel like that's the most like Marvel I've been taking.
And I feel like that's so tangential.
Yeah.
WandaVision
is so good.
Oh, WandaVision
Okay.
is so good.
So-
It's barely even Marvel. Like it feels like its own thing in so many ways.
Besides one episode, there's one episode that's super Marvel centric, and every time it comes on, I'm like, ugh. Because it doesn't have like the WandaVision show within the show, and it literally at all. It's just about like, I feel like
people on the outside.
All you need to know for the sake of like WandaVision is that there was an event in their universe where a bunch of people were snapped out of existence, and then they
for sure.
all of a sudden start existing again, and like there aren't really protocol to know if it's gonna like if they're gonna disappear, if they're gonna age, like what's going on with them and what's safe. Like that is like a major part of it.
You would really like it, I think. I really do.
WandaVision is just so good. The only way that I like it feels very Twilight Zone-esque in some of the episodes. The premise of the show is that pretty much each episode is a different decade of like old sitcom. So like they're modeled off of sitcoms from different eras, and you can tell based off like the color choices, the fashion choices, like the word choice, like that kind of stuff. And it's really fun.
I don't think there's anything that happens in a hospital in the show. She does, there's childbirth in the show, but it's not like shown at all or anything, and it doesn't happen in a hospital.
Yeah, it happens in her living room.
It does happen in her living room.
And it's like done like a sitcom in the sense where like there's just like a lot of humor around it.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that gets into like trauma territory is the second to last episode.
I mean, I would just say that there's themes of reality testing and surreality might be important for people who struggle with psychosis. And the other thing that I would warn is content regarding grief and loss.
There's also testing on like humans.
Oh, you mean for her backstory?
Yeah.
Yes. If you're not familiar with the Wanda character, I would also do a little reading up on that to see if you're ready for her
also,
backstory.
You can look on IMDb in the spoilers, and it'll tell you.
It's called The Parent's Guide. If you ever, this is something I do for everything we watch. Is I'm very sensitive to triggering content and material. And so anytime I'm going to watch something new, I look up the name of what it is, and I look up IMDb Parents Guide. And it has different sections. There's like a violence section, there's a sex and sexuality section, there's drugs and alcohol use. It'll even say for like things that are rated like PG-13 and under, it'll even give like warnings to like the language that's being used, if there's any slurs said, or if there's any swear words used.
And it generally gives you a pretty good idea of how graphic the thing is as well.
Yeah, it gives it a rating of like severe or like less so, mild. And then also if you click into things, like you can say like the spoiler free version, or you can click in to see the spoilers, and it'll describe the scene so that you can gauge whether or not you're ready to watch that.
But yeah, WandaVision, one of the best shows of all time. Such a good story about grief and loss. Makes me weep every time. Good show.
Good show. Jolly good show. I probably have to leave soon. I feel very dissociated. I need some co-regulation and grounding time. Look at me taking care of myself.
Hi, baby. Come here.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Look who wanted to say hi to you.
Oh my goodness.
He said you're dissociated. I got you.
My little. Are you so little? Thank you. You're very good. You're a very good boy.
You always know when we need you, huh?
Yeah. I didn't know about that. I always watch new things with my partner because when she's not here, I just rewatch The Office over and over. Oh my gosh, that's so real. Having like that comfort media. I feel like mine is usually Over the Garden Wall, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Planet Earth, Ocean's Deep.
Most Tim Burton films. You
Most
rewatch
Tim
a lot.
Burton.
Pride and Prejudice.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I had a lot of fun. And we are going to go puppy cuddle, I think. But I'll see you later. Bye!